The episode 11 is heavily known in TBLs as the cursed episode, but that did not happen at all in Bad Buddy the series, except the last scene. This episode has full of cute and lovely moments, but it also has some realizations on their real situation as a couple. Bad Buddy started as a light story, but the build up was executed perfectly and we weren't drowned with a lot of information in a single episode. In this video, I will be telling my own thoughts and reactions about the latest episode and of course, how the story of Pat and Pran ended in the novel. With the finale episode airing next week, what do you expect for the relationship of Pat and Pran? Tell us in the comment section below. Also, I will be linking down below the official English translation of Bad Buddy if you want to read the whole book on your own. Anyway, if you live in a different country and some BL series are not available to yours, you can use ExpressVPN to watch those restricted series. Use the link on the description below to have 49% discount and 3 months free if you opt to avail the 12-month plan. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. I was really anxious on what would happen on this episode because the teaser did not tell us much, but it turned out to be one of the best episodes because of the moments that Pat and Pran had shared together. I was really happy when both of them could finally enjoy the company of one another without any interference with either by their friends or families. They got to experience how they would live together if their families were friends too and not arch enemies. I also loved how they were dependent with one another, proving that they really trust and support each other. Although Pran felt that he already missed his mother and wanted to call her, he still chose to be with Pat and fought for their love, even for just a couple of days. Even though Pat and Pran had known each other for a long time already, the episode 11 still gave us a scene where they asked questions to know one another better, and I think that was necessary for the final build-up of their characters. After all what happened to them as enemies, they never really got to ask those questions because they were busy hiding their friendships from their friends and also from their parents. Aside from episode 5's kiss, the episode 11 also gave one, but this time around, their hearts no longer have doubts but only an affirmation of their feelings. All in all, this got to be one of the best episodes of Bad Buddy, and I can say that this is the best episode 11 so far in every TBL series out there. When we first saw the Zero Waste Village on episode 6, we did not expect that this would have a big part on the development of Pat and Pran's relationship. In almost every TBL series where they go out from their universities, I always felt that it was just a filler episode and to give the characters a screen time to know each other. But this wasn't the case in Bad Buddy. The concept was used to strengthen the relationship of Pat and Pran and also to develop them in much more personalities. I also love the message of this project where Tong said that although his actions alone might not change the world, he won't quit just because the world wants him to quit. It was subtle, but the message actually fits more to Pat and Pran's relationship. The world they live in might want them to hate one another, but it's still their hearts that they should follow no matter what. Their decision may not please everyone, but it's good as long as it pleases their hearts. For those who have read the novel version of Bad Buddy, you would already know that Pran would choose over anything else. In the book, when Pat wanted to just run away from their families, Pran said that they should think the consequences of their actions before doing it. Although it did not happen in this episode, it was implied at some point that Pran still wanted to adhere to the orders of his mother. In the book, Pran's mother actually did not play a major role, unlike in the series. It was actually Pran's father who ordered him what to do and sent him to England to finish his studies. Going back to their families after spending some time together, they'd already know that they should follow what their parents want them to do. For those who have been constantly watching my spoiler videos of Bad Buddy since episode 2, you would already know that the novel is far different from its series counterpart. A lot of changes were made and it even set the tone lighter for the series. If the novel version of Pat and Pran would watch the series version, I'm certain that they would feel jealous of them. Pat and Pran suffered a lot more in the novel and it was hurtful to read, to say the least. If you have watched the preview for episode 12, you would know that Pat and Pran will break up and stay away for a long time. In the novel, Pat and Pran broke up when Pran did not want to leave his parents to run away with Pat. Because of what happened on that day, Pat and Pran just fulfilled the wishes of their parents for them. Pran was sent to England to finish his studies while Pat was forced to engage with his childhood friend by his parents. 5 months later, Pat had already finished studying and was already working on their family business. At first, Pat was only a secretary for his father in order for him to know the flow of work, but later on, he was challenged by his father to take over a project where they experienced some problems with. Since the factory couldn't satisfy the demand of their company, Pat resorted to talk with Pran's father to have a joint venture with their company. Pran's dad was actually impressed by Pat on his maturity compared to the last time he saw him. When Pat's dad learned about what Pat had done, he was extremely furious of his son. But Pat said that he only did it for the sake of the company that his father inherited from Pat's grandfather. After a lot of confrontation that had happened, his father signed the joint venture with the company of Pran's dad. After showing his dedication to his work and also the maturity he got, Pran's dad finally said that he would allow Pat to have a relationship with his son. Since the engagement of Pran was already cancelled, Pran's dad also said that he could follow Pran in England to see him and to relay the message of Pran's dad that he already missed him. Pat went to England to visit his boyfriend and the two enjoyed each other's company for a couple of days. When Pat was going back to Thailand, Pat wanted Pran to finish his studies already so they could be with one another again. Roughly a year later, Pat is already the head of their family business with his father as his consultant. The joint venture of their company with Pran's dad is also a success after having multiple projects at once. Pran also comes back home by surprising Pat into a business dinner, thinking that it was Pran's dad who called the meeting. In the end, both of them are happy knowing that they have each other's back. The later parts of the novel are actually a bit matured compared to the series and I actually like it by a lot. In the end, Pat proves that his love for Pran isn't just a stage of a young man who falls in love with the same gender, rather a genuine emotion that does not need prejudice. The love story of Pat and Pran is really beautiful, whether it's the series or the novel version. Thank you so much for joining me in this series of videos. Until the next time.